I'm going to move these codecs to user lib asterisk modules. Oops. I really hosed that up. Okay. Let's make sure they got there. Okay, we're good. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the codecs, all those codecs that I downloaded, because we don't need those for later. You can always come back to Asterikast.com and get those. All right, so I'm not even ready to start Asterisk yet, but I'm close. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a group called Asterisk. So like I said, we're not going to run Asterisk as root. And I've already done that. And I'm just typing in the command so you can see this. I've already done this as well. So that's exactly what you'll type. And you can see that he's added now. Group ID 102, UID 1000. Then in the root directory, one of my scripts that I've already downloaded is this ownast script. And all this does is does chounds on all of the important asterisk directories, or all of the asterisk directories, and owns them as asterisk. So that way when you start asterisk, it has the ability to read and write these directories. And one other thing I'm going to do, since we're not using Zaptel, I'm just going to touch an empty zaptel.conf. And I'm going to cp ownast to user bin.
And we'll put that ownast up on the website for you to download.
On the website. And I hit ownast, no errors, so that's good. And we're going to run safe asterisk minus u. So actually now we're going to start asterisk minus u for user. And hit enter. And you'll see now we're in asterisk. One other thing that I like to do is edit the safe asterisk file, especially on asterisk only installs. And I like to change the priority to -20 to give it the highest priority. Now you might think that that's kind of weird, because 0 is neutral ground, +20 is nice to everything else, and -20 is not nice. So if you think of it in this way, the higher you go, the nicer you are. The lower you go, the meaner you are.
Yep.
So that's exactly what we're doing here.
Or just remember it as a golf score. The lower you go, the better.
Yep, there you go. Everybody wants a -20 when they golf.
That's right. I wish I had
one. So then there's a couple other cool things in this file. One is the terminal. So that way, if I wasn't running VirtualBox, I could show you. Control F9 will actually pop me right into an asterisk console. Notify, type in an email address, and what it'll do is it'll send me an email if asterisk crashes, and I can also make it execute a command if I wish. I'm not going to do any of that because this is not a production box, but normally I would if it's a production box. So in order to make my priority changes start, I need to do a stop now, then a safe asterisk minus u asterisk minus g asterisk. And we are in. And if we did a PSAUX, you can see that it's running, that the application's running. All right, now we're going to simply do a SIP extension. And for a SIP extension, we're actually going to delete the SIP file because there's too much stuff in there.
But again, we highly suggest you read through it if it's the first time you've ever used Asterisk. It has plenty of comment code in there to help you understand what it is that sip.conf does.
All right, so far what I've added here is I've added a general context, and I've said that the default context that this should pop into in the extensions.conf is default, and that it allows guests, so anyone can SIP to my device. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disallow all codecs, and I'm going to allow EULA. This is just default for every single one. My default DTMF mode is going to be RFC 2833, and my default canary invite option, it's going to be no. And canary invite, what it does is it says if asterisk should get out of the way of the media path. So if you think of two SIP phones talking to each other, and somebody makes the call, it goes through asterisk, asterisk rings the other phone. Once the connection's set up, Asterisk can actually step out of the media path so those two phones are just talking to each other. This is really useful if you're sure there's no firewalls in the way. If there's firewalls in the way, can reinvite can cause some issues. I'm also going to add user 100. He's a friend. And a friend basically means, this is kind of confusing, but a friend means he's a user on this Asterix machine. He's going to come to this Asterix machine to authenticate himself. His default context is going to be default. And if you, like I say, if you don't understand what that means, you will in a moment. We're going to disallow all, allow ULAW, allow G729. So what this means is it's going to first allow ULAW. So ULAW is the first preference codec. The second preference codec is G729.
And it's important that you put the disallow first, because that cancels out all availability, and then you re-enable those codecs as they go down the list.
Yep. So then the next thing we're going to put is username equals 100, secret equals 100. So that's basically username and password that the phone's going to send. And we don't have to put can reinvite no here because we already know that we're not going to allow it to reinvite. And while I'm in here, I'm just going to go ahead and add 101 because we've got two GrandStream devices. We've got a budget tone 100 and a budget tone 486. So I'm just going to do pretty much the exact same thing. I'm just going to change the username and the secret.
And those are all configured inside the GrandStream devices. And for more information on that, you can refer to the user manual of the GrandStreams. They're really not that hard to set up. They're all usually web interface, or you can do it via the touchpad as well, but they're really easy to set up. So if you have any questions about that, you can check the manual on that, or check the manual for your device that you choose to use.
All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm resetting my my GrandStream phone, so it will, so you can actually see it sync up to the Asterix server. It takes just a second. So now you can see that that we forgot one option in the sip.conf called host dynamic. This is actually really important, and it's good that I broke it there, because otherwise I would have skipped over it really fast. Host dynamic makes sure that the device can sync from anywhere, and you can put a single IP address in there, but on a DHCP network, it's probably important that you use host dynamic.
And it's important that after you add that, you also reload Asterix.
Yeah, and you have to go Asterix space -R and then type reload. Okay, so we'll go ahead and reboot this phone again so it gets happy. And this phone can sometimes be fidgety with restarts, so that's why we actually unplug it.
Mm-hmm. We're not trying to downplay GrandStreams, but there are some issues sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, this is the prime example of you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
And I paid $60 for this phone. So.
Whereas if you pay a little more for a Cisco phone or a Polycom,
yep,
you're going to get a little more out of it.
So I'm going to do a SIP show peers, and you'll see that I'm ranged up. And if Tony will reboot the other one, it should range up as well.
And just so you can see the difference here, this is the Polycom phone. You can see it's a phone setup, and this is the the GrandStream phone. This is the Budge Tone 100, and then this is the Handy Tone 486 by GrandStream. And the nice thing about this is you can use any analog phone you have in your home and turn it into an IP phone with Asterisk by this. You plug your standard phone line right into the phone port on this, and it works great if you don't want to go out and buy a brand new phone. And it works really awesome if you're trying to network your whole home into Asterisk. Otherwise, if you're looking just specifically for an IP phone, you can go with the GrandStream Budge Tone 100.
And for some reason, that phone isn't ranging up, which isn't which is unusual because we were having issues with this earlier today. Yeah. So I'm not really that surprised about it. So okay, so we've got our SIP devices set up. However, they have nowhere to call. So we're going to edit the extensions.conf. We're going to remove mostly everything. I would say 99%. Just the stuff that Asterisk leaves default.